I'm Stephen, USSR Robinson, and you're watching Sport Icons. Papa!
Okay, so there's a couple of articles flying around this morning, and as quite a few of you have sent some of these articles to me, which is Deontay Wilder. He's done an interview with one of the clown channels, one of the rimmers, who obviously just, yes, Deontay, of course, Deontay. Can we get married, Deontay? These kind of channels. Now, in the article, of course, it puts quotes that Deontay Wilder has spoken about. Of course, I don't watch any of these channels. Okay, I've got better things to do, like washing my hair or clip my toenails. But on the article, a couple of the points that Wilder has made about the third fight with Fury in about 2.5 weeks' time is that he believes Tyson Fury is trying to come up with a master plan of how he can cheat again. So he's still reaffirming his belief that Tyson Fury cheated in the rematch and, of course, the first fight. Now, first of all, where was this energy? Where was all this talk when he was confronted with Tyson Fury? Instead, he decided to put earphones on and say absolutely nothing. That's how much he doesn't believe any of these things, really, in my opinion. In fact, when all the allegations started coming out before Wilder said anything, although, I mean, part of me does believe that Wilder actually told a lot of these fanboy channels to put out these narratives, but I do think that Wilder probably looked at some of it and heard some of it about, the gloves and all these other kind of things and went, man, I can't believe how dumb my fan base are. They will come up with anything. You know what? I'm going to run with this one. I don't have to accept that, I just got beat up because these people are quite happy to make up excuses for me. And I think for the most part, what people are raising an eyebrow at when it comes to excuses is it's not like he's just directed people into one possibility of as to why he lost with Tyson Fury cheating. I mean, that's one thing to come out with, like one thing or even two things is a bit of a stretch, but he's come out with a whole shopping list of excuses and he reaffirms that all of them are true. But in some ways, he kind of counteracts his thoughts as well, because immediately after the fight in the changing room, when he briefly spoke to Yahoo Sports, of course, Yahoo Sports a few weeks ago put out the actual audio of it, where Wilder says that he felt something was wrong when he was walking to the ring, that he felt drained, he felt tired. Now, for me, I see that as some kind of anxiety attack. But either way, that's why he blamed the costume. So as far as the spiking of the water and the gloves and all these kind of things, well, he was already feeling tired. He was already fatigued even before he got into the ring. But now suddenly he's trying to give out the impression that the damage happened inside the ring, to the point where Tyson Fury has used something in his gloves. He even said that Tyson Fury scratched his ear with his fingernail through his gloves. But yet, even though JD's, Deontay Wilder's trainer manager, was in the changing room watching Tyson Fury get his hands wrapped and the gloves put on and then taped up. So they can't be tampered with. You can't move them. Okay, but somehow Tyson Fury has managed to stick his finger through the glove somehow and scratch his ear hole. But yeah, there's no footage of this whatsoever, okay? But the allegations of the doping, shall we call it, the spiking of the water, potentially done by Mark Breland, that's a step too far. That's going far too far. Now, if you can say that I won't get anything out of Mark Breland, it's time for a change, people can accept it. But to accuse the man of illegal activity, criminal activity, is a whole nother level of crap. Let's be honest with it. Now, as far as him saying that Tyson Fury is going to cheat again, well, Tyson Fury never cheated in the first place. Inside the ring, potentially, of course, when he grabbed him in a headlock and, of course, was leaning all over him, that's illegal, okay? But at the same time, many fighters do it, and you do it until the referee tells you to stop. But for Wilder to say that even the referee was in on it is an absolute joke. And of course, to say the Nevada State Athletic Commission was also in it as well. Of course, they are the ones who handed Fury the gloves moments before the fight. And of course, took the gloves immediately after the fight for investigation. So he's saying that they didn't do their job. But yet Wilder is going to take on a so-called cheat for a third time in the state, Nevada, in Las Vegas, where the commission is quite clearly anti-Deontay Wilder. Strange, isn't it? Very, very strange. But to be honest with you, I think part of this, where he says that Tyson Fury is concocting this master plan so he can cheat again, is his way of maybe pointing to the fan and say, look at Tyson Fury in the whole build-up. Look at him on the fight. In other words, don't look at me, because I might actually be cheating myself. Maybe he's going to try and use a load of gloves. Maybe he's angry because Tyson Fury and his team caught him trying to cheat. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he wasn't going to get away with loading up his gloves. Maybe this is where some of this so-called power comes from, because Wilder has been loading up his gloves, right? Maybe. I mean, we know that he's had surgery in that on his hand before. He's got some metal objects actually in his hand, does he not? Some bolts, some rods, and whatever else. So he's really a cheat here. So maybe he's just deflecting as a way to say, look at Tyson Fury while I get away with doing whatever I'm going to get away with. I'm going to do whatever I'm going to do. Maybe that's his way. Now, Tyson Fury cheating for a third time. He never cheated in either time. Again, even in this article, he says how gloves don't bend at a 90-degree angle. Well, they do when they're Everlast MX gloves. Again, we're talking about the first fight here. He seems to be very confused about the first fight and the second fight. There was no glove bending or anything in the rematch because Tyson used totally different gloves. He used gloves in the rematch that are filled with foam that don't bend that way. In the first fight, the Everlast MS gloves, they've got horsehair in them. Go look at some Muhammad Ali fights. You can see the gloves flopping all over the place because when they get a little bit of moisture in them, that's what they do. But Wilder should know this. Wilder has been in boxing for a long time. And Wilder probably does know this, especially as he is sponsored by Everlast. Or at least he was, I don't know about now, but he's been sponsored by Everlast, therefore he will know the products. And of course his team authorised that Tyson Fury use those gloves the first time around. If you're going to use gloves with horsehair in them, they're going to get wet and they are going to distort, they are going to flop. But even then, was it that Wilder said right before the rematch, when he's talking about the first fight, you got pillows for fists, that's why I managed to walk through your punches. So clearly there was no problem. And if anything, Tyson Fury would have damaged his own hands rather than Deontay Wilder, because the gloves aren't there to protect your opponent as much as what they are to protect your own hands. Madness, absolute madness. But you know what, Wilder, his fans, they can come up with anything that they like. And if Tyson Fury beats him again on July 24th, there's going to be a whole load more excuses. Or maybe Wilder do a complete U-turn and say, yeah, you know what, I don't think a few cheated. It was all just hype. It was all just build-up. Basically expose his own fan base. So fully expect that potentially happening as well. But Wilder, being the character that he is very emotional. But it is strange that he's got a lot to say to other people and to select members of, I was about to say media. They're not media, okay? They're online hustlers. But he's got a lot to say to these, but when he's actually in front of Tyson Fury, as quiet as a church mouse. That's how much he doesn't believe it. For me, if I genuinely felt that my opponent cheated me, I wouldn't want to get back in the ring with him. But yet he hasn't put forth any kind of evidence, none whatsoever. Because if he had evidence of the fact that he got spiked, firstly, how come he passed VADA? That'll be the first question that you have to ask. But of course, his fans don't want to hear that kind of thing. But at the same time, why would you want to get back into the ring with a guy who you believe cheated? I wouldn't. I certainly wouldn't. And I'll be trying to sue that guy. But he hasn't tried to sue Tyson Fury. He hasn't tried to sue the referee. He hasn't tried to sue the Nevada State Athletic Commission. He hasn't tried to do anything like that. The only kind of action that he's actually taken is getting rid of Mark Breland, which I think that he wanted to get rid of Mark Breland anyway. Why? Because his best friend, potentially, I don't know, boyfriend in Mallet Scott, wants to be his new head trainer. Maybe Mallet Scott told him to do that. Maybe. We don't know, right? Anyway, that's my thoughts. Tyson Fury cheating for a third time. Hey, at the end of the day, if Tyson Fury did cheat in any of these kind of ways, I mean, firstly, it would be virtually impossible for him to have done everything that Wilder and his fanatical fan base have accused him of. But even if he had done one or two of them, whose fault's that? Team Wilder's fault. They should have been very, very careful, should they not? Anyway, what can you do? Drop your thoughts below, click thumbs up, subscribe, catch you on the next video.